Hi everybody, it's Stephen at Brandigo. Welcome back to Shanghai for the latest in our CMO's Guide to China Marketing video series. And today we're going to talk a little bit about KOLs. Now, what we mean by KOLs here in China is probably what's more commonly referred to in the West as an influencer. It's the same thing. KOL stands for Key Opinion Leader, and it's somebody who has built up a huge social media following that attracts lots of engagement, lots of fans, and that companies can tap into them to promote their products, services, and messaging. Now, what you will see here in China is KOLs are so prevalent largely because the digital ad platforms are not as targeted perhaps as their Western equivalents. So it's created a space in China for the KOLs to really flourish. What tends to happen is a KOL will focus on one digital platform. So you'll get a KOL who is prevalent or popular on WeChat or Pinduoduo or Douyin, which you will know as TikTok, or Xiaohongshu, Little Red Book, and so on. From a B2B point of view, the KOL or influencer tends to be a leading voice of the industry, perhaps a journalist who is using their own social media platform and also has a lot of credibility within the industry. So without further ado, we're going to go through 5 major points to keep in mind before you implement some KOL marketing into your China marketing strategy. Okay, let's get into it. Point number 1, make sure you familiarize yourself with the relevant KOL landscape. Now, typically here in China, KOLs fall into what we describe as 3 tiers. Tier 1 will be a KOL with 1 to 2 million followers and maybe an average viewing rate of 2,000 to 1 million views. These will be your very high profile celebrities, sports stars, influencers who have managed to monetize their platform and have a lot of engagement, have a huge fan base, and obviously are going to be pretty expensive. Tier 2 are KOLs who average around 200 to 500,000 followers, and for each post they're getting about 50 to 200,000 views. And then Tier 3, you're looking at 5,000 to 50,000 followers and averaging 2,000 to 30,000 views approximately. And like I said, your Tier 1s are most likely to be celebs, sports stars, or like I mentioned, KOLs who've monetized their social media channels, and they've often become celebrities in their own right. A famous example of this is a fashion blogger who famously, not so long ago, sold 100 Mini Cooper cars in 4 minutes during one of her live streaming events. What we're also seeing as an emerging trend, if you like, over the last maybe 12 to 18 months is a KOC tier, a tier 4. Now, KOC is what we call a key opinion consumer. These tend to be very ordinary people, just like you and I, who are leaving reviews on products that they've actually bought, actually own, so that the reviews are highly trusted and highly respected. They have a small amount of following, but the comments that they leave, the reviews that they are making are highly trusted. We're seeing more and more brands tap into this layer of KOL, KOC, and as a result, some of the digital platforms are responding to this by recognizing them in their algorithms, so their content is pushed up the timelines. Point number 2, money talks. When it comes to KOL marketing in China, there's no getting away from the fact that it's pretty expensive, especially if you're working with Tier 1 celebrity influencers. You're going to burn through your budget super quick. And what that means is the return on investment might be a little bit disappointing. B2B KOLs are going to be considerably less expensive, a little bit more cost effective. But again, if you're going to hitch your China marketing strategy completely to the KOL marketing wagon, I think you're going to be a little bit disappointed with the return on investment. So as most of these things, you want to balance, you want to use where relevant, use for the right aspect of your campaign. And that mention on return on investment brings us nicely to the next point, point number 3, finding the value. Now, traditionally measuring the success of your KOL campaign in China can be a challenge. Reach and engagement figures aren't always that transparent, and they're only telling part of the story anyway. Large number of followers isn't always going to be the main thing. If you're promoting a niche project, for example, you maybe want to prefer to work with a KOL that has a smaller audience reach, but has the buying power to purchase your product and has the will to do so. So more sales, more engagement, more impact. For an e-commerce campaign, it's a little easier to measure the ROI as you can track sales almost on a real-time basis. But the point to take away here is agree your metrics up front. Make sure everybody, including the KOL and their management team, are aligned on what success looks like and what you are working towards achieving from your KOL marketing here in China. Now, the 4th thing to be aware of is something that we've covered frequently actually in this series, and it's the fact that that line between paid and earned media here in China can be a little bit blurry compared to the West. Now, the impact that has here is quite often your KOL marketing campaign, particularly from a B2B point of view, is going to involve an agreement with a trade media or specific publication that is going to be promoting your content via their own social media platforms. It could be a publication, it could be a journalist or an editor, but there will be an agreement in place and there will be a fee exchanged for this service. So please bear that in mind. And point 5 for today is buyer beware, spotting the fakes. Now, fake KOL, fake influencers are a problem all around the world, and unfortunately China is no exception. We've all heard the stories about overinflated follower numbers, overinflated engagements. We've all seen the stories of click farms, etc., and so on, and it does happen. But there are things that you can do to protect your marketing strategy from the impact that can have. One of the things to do is look at the previous content that the KOL you want to work with has posted and pay particular attention to the comment section. Do the comments all look similar? Are they all hugely positive? Are they all agreeing with each other? Are they all coming from similar KOLs? All of this type of thing is going to give you an alarm bell that will let you make a judgment about how trusting, how credible, how real the KOL that you want to work with is. The other kind of added benefit of doing this sort of quick piece of desk research as well is where a KOL has a lot of engagement with a valid audience, you're going to see the type of content that they are responding to, what they are commenting about, etc., and so on. And that's going to help you formulate a piece of content that's really going to drive engagement as well. So it's a really useful process. Ask the KOL or their management team for access to the performance data of previous posts, previous campaigns they've worked on. You can also tap into social media listening services and the specialist KOL agencies here in China that can help you as well. But again, it's going to charge with a fee and could burn through your budget pretty quickly. So that's it for today. That's a brief overview into KOL marketing here in China and some of the insight that we've picked up from our years and years of doing this here. If you want more detail on anything, if you think we've missed anything out, or if there's any key points you'd like to add, as ever, we'd always love to hear from you. Just leave a comment down below, contact us directly, reach out via our social media. We'll leave the addresses at the end of the piece. That's it for today. See you next time.